welcome to the Sunday show. We have a special guest, Valerie O'Leary. So Valerie.
Yes.
I hear that you've made a movie.
I have. So my movie, we just completed our movie. Thank you. So we just finished our production, Making Connections. I believe we're going to take a couple of minutes to watch the trailer for it. Is that correct?
I think so. Directors?
All right.
Oh, wait.
Making this video, Making Connections, really made me think about my perspectives and how those are changing as I go through and I'm reading about the power of students, looking at school reform, talking about the different standards and accountability for myself as a teacher, also accountability for my students and kind of how we can move them through that. Obviously, being a leader, you have to keep those fundamental purposes of education in mind, but you also need to know the history and kind of where you've come from, society. There are so many different overlaps when I was going through and I was trying to make connections with all of the readings. And a lot of the things that I was thinking about were my own practices of showing students, giving them those hands-on experiences, sharing their making those other connections with other people, looking at the medicine wheel, celebrating achievements, having like get-togethers and having feasts for all the hard work from making drums to putting up teepees, which again, my perspective coming from First Nations school, those are things that I need to look at and work with my colleagues and help with my own awareness. And being able to kind of share those stories, like in our first course where we had to find that critical incident that made a difference and brought us to education, learning all of those different things, having those hard conversations sometimes with your own children and celebrating those, helping them to be free of racism, to be free and to be happy and just to kind of enjoy their time in school, but also being able to kind of help them navigate through rough waters. A lot of times we think of our students as our own children. Looking at and seeing the different perspectives really kind of help you with the dreaming, just like with Shannon's dream, you know, a young girl who wanted to make changes for her school and that whole idea around equity. So learning all of those skills, I think, are really, really important as we keep in mind as leaders those fundamental purposes of education. You know, the education and mainstream is not always the enemy. We need to look for those signs, I think, and as a community of educators, we need to work hard. We need to find different ways to approach our students and to help them through the education system, looking at the different standards, providing them with all of the resources that they can kind of relate to, helping them move forward through those hard times, like they mentioned, in one of the articles, like a lot of times students have a really hard time, so we need to be able to bring them to a place where they can express themselves and be able to kind of see through and see beyond the road that kind of, you know, they're going to be at a crossing road some point in their life. Are they wanting to, which way are they going to go, right? So you need to help them with harvesting and preparing them with their own bundles, but keep reminding them about the rules for us as teachers, but also their roles as students, citizens, looking beyond the classroom, shooting for the stars. And again, treating everybody the same. For me, equity is huge. Finding those lifeboats to help us with our travel as we try to reimagine education for our students. And again, looking to the traditional curricular route and getting those certifications, looking for guidance from our OCT and the Assembly of First Nations, and how we can help our students along the way and be good leaders and show that leadership. Again, having those courageous conversations, being vulnerable, I think are really, really important. We too, as teachers, can learn to fly. And remembering what your role is. You are a teacher leader. There's lots along the way that are going to make you scream, going to make you laugh. But in the end, if you remember and you impress upon your students, you can see that they will fight for what they need, just like in Shannon's dream and with all of the things with the TRC. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Sunday show. I'll see you next Sunday.
All right.